Hello, my name is Nick Allen, and I'm president of the HEMA Club, and today we're going to be talking about footwork. So in German longsword, there's usually two types of steps that are really important. Those are going to be the gathering step and the passing step. And then we'll cover a theory called offline steps. Now let's start with the passing step. Sorry, the gathering step. So what we're going to be doing is, in a basic stance, your left foot is going to be forward and your right foot is going to be back. It's going to look like this, and this is what it looks like from the side. Notice how my back foot is at this nice angle, and I can push off from it, and my left foot is pointed at this angle, so I can push back. And this back foot is really nice and secure. My knees are bent, my weight is distributed, and I'm ready to move in just about any direction. So the gathering step is going to look like this. And this step is really good for being able to either close distance or create distance. Now what happens is your front foot is going to go forward and your back foot is going to catch up. Try not to bring your feet all the way together like this. Not only is that really not very stable, it's a very easy way to get pushed over. So this is what it looks like from the front, and you can also do this going backwards as well. Now, when you're going backwards, make sure that you're planting that back foot and that it's nice and stable, and pick up this front foot and kind of drag it a little bit so that way you still have contact with the ground. This way, you're not leaping back unsteadily like that. It's a nice controlled motion. This is what it looks like on the right side. This is what it looks like on the left side. Now your left foot is back and your right foot is forward. The way that I remember which side is which is that whichever foot is back, that's the side you're on. If your left foot is back, you're on the left side. This is what it looks like going forward. This is what it looks like going back. Notice how I'm picking up my foot and kind of leaping forward. This is what sport fencers do a lot, and it's a really quick way to gain distance. This is what it looks like from the side, going forward and going backwards. Excellent. And the reason that this is great is because for distance management, if you have a sword in a long guard, say something like long point, which is what we'll cover later, this step is great for being able to threaten your opponent with the point and to be able to agilely move distance. So a great way that we can practice the gathering step is by just doing a lot of them in a row. So if you start on the right side, you just do 1, 2, forward, and then you just go backwards. 1, 2. And then you just switch your feet and do it again. 1, 2, and then go backwards. 1, 2. And if you do this, this is a great way to practice getting this step to become second nature, because that's the real goal of footwork. Being able to move smoothly and efficiently without needing to think it through. Now then, the next one is called the passing step. This is going to be one of the most fundamental steps that you can do in German longsword. What happens is your back foot becomes the front foot. And notice how you've now switched sides. I'm on my left side, and if I step back, I'm on my right side. Now this is really important because when we're talking about guards, you have guards on the right side, and you have guards on the left side. And this step is how you transfer in between them. This is how you'll be doing almost all of your cuts in German longsword, and it's the most foundational step in the system. So what's going to happen is when you're going forward on the right side, your left foot comes forward, your foot plants, and your back foot pivots. Track this left foot. Notice how when I come up on my toes, and then it pivots. This way, not only do you not damage your knee, but it's also a really smooth way to be able to move, pivoting on that foot. This is the step going forward, and again, and then going backwards. And I'm back on the right side. If I do this on the left side, going forward, and then going backwards. Bump, bump. Notice that when I'm going back, you can see this better on the side, that when I'm going back, this back foot isn't planted all the way on the heel. It's actually going to be on the balls of the feet. This way, you can actually spring back forward if you need to. So if we're looking at this from the side, you're on the right side and you're going forward, bump, bump, and then if you're going backwards, notice how that back foot is nice and mobile. If you're on the left side, you're right here, you go forward, and again, and back. Cool. And like I said, this step is really important because this is how you're going to be transferring the sides. A fantastic way to practice the passing step is just like we just did with the gather step. So if you start on the right side, you go forward 1, forward 2, moving backwards 1, backwards 2. Notice how that foot is staying nice and nimble, so that way you can pivot easily in whatever direction you need to. Now if we're doing it again on the left side, forward 1, forward 2. Going backwards 1, backwards 2. And again, just like with the gathering step, the goal of this footwork drill is to be able to become fluid and efficient and be able to do this without thinking about it, especially since this is how you're going to be transferring through all your regards that we'll check out later. The last thing that we're going to be talking about is something called an offline step. This is an amazingly useful step that you can use to change the direction and change the angle. Now, what it looks like, especially with a sword, is you're here on this front plane. If you do a regular step, you're going to still be on this plane. If you do an offline step, it looks like this. This back foot steps off to the side, and then your foot tracks to follow it. Notice how, if this is a straight line plane, I'm now off that plane. Now let me show you how this works in actual combat. I have a lovely assistant here. And so, if we're here, and I do a basic strike at him in this plane, it's very easy for him to block it, because he knows where it's coming from, and he knows what's going to happen. If I do an offline step, notice now I'm off the line that he's going to be attacking in, and I'm able to hit these angles. This works for just about anything as well. I can also cut low at angles and targets that he's not likely to suspect. If I try that on a front line, it's very easy for him to either block it right there or just hit me in the head as I'm going low. So that's why these offline steps can be really useful, because you can sometimes even negate their entire attack. Thank you. So the way that we practice these steps is we're going to start with the gathering step. So what's going to happen is your lead foot is going to step off to the side, and then your back foot is going to close in. So it looks like this. And then another one. And then if you're going backwards, the same thing happens with your back foot. Cool. Let's do it with the other foot. And this one, you're going to be going this way, because your leg is leading on the right side, so you have to go to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a great way to practice the offline step with the gathering step. And now if you're doing the passing step, it's going to look like this. And then when you go backwards, this foot is the one that's going to be going out. So it's kind of like a little serpentine V formation. So if you're here, you go out there, and step again, and then step back, bum, bum, ending up on the same side. Those are the basics for longsword footwork. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.